we have 4 simple rules. Number 1, we don't discuss politics, ever. Number 2, this is not a religious channel, and while you might hear people say, God bless you, or I'm going to pray for you, or I wouldn't have gotten through this without my faith, that's fine. What's not fine is to say, my God is better than your God, or here's why you're not getting into heaven. It's not going to fly. Number 3, we believe wholeheartedly if you can't control your tongue, then you can't control your life. So while on board, there's not going to be any cursing in the live chat, period. And number 4, there is no room for mean people on the lifeboat. Because we discuss very sensitive things from people's past in our group setting, we got to protect those people. The only way they feel confident and comfortable discussing those things is in an environment that is free of trolls and mean people. So if you're a mean person or you're a troll, we're going to block you for life. And if your account happens to be less than 24 hours old, we're probably a little suspicious right from the word go. Why? Well, because there are people in this world who enjoy being cruel solely for the sake of being cruel. It's not going to fly here. But if you're here because you're trying to get sober and live your best life, then you might find that the lifeboat is just that, a lifeboat. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and we will see you on deck. Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Lifeboat. I'm Captain Tommy. On the other side of the glass, my bobbleheaded partner, Mark Wages. A special shout out to everybody from the Wages family that's joining us here tonight on the Lifeboat. For those of you who were not over there, Mark had just finished up doing a live feed over on Wages World, and we got a lot of the Wages community is here with us. Wow. I'm sorry. It says, I don't know how my husband was involved in this show, but he took his own life this morning. I know he talked about this show, so I thought I would let everyone know. That would apparently be Jason Mootz's wife. Yeah. Yeah, I don't, that's awful. Thoughts and prayers for Jason's family. And yeah, M. Hunt, I, yeah, I wish. I really wish. Well, tonight we're gonna revisit this before the end of the show. If you see the comment from Jason Moots, apparently that is his wife typing, and she said that he took his life. So we will revisit this before the end of the show. Yeah, that is one of the realities of the lifeboat is that we lose people that we care very deeply for. It's a part of what happens on the lifeboat, and it happens far too often. It really does. Hold one moment, people. Oh, good. That helps. 1 second, people. Okay. As I said, we will. I'm going to get back to this before the end of the show. Yeah, prayers going out to the family for sure. People, today, if you saw the thumbnail, the this thumbnail is we're talking about change, and this season has been um, pretty rife with this as a subject that just seems to recur, right? The Jesse Brown, it's good to see you, man. We've missed you. It's good to see Jesse in here. Uh, the second season here at the Lifeboat has been a lot less about sobriety and a lot more about change. And the there are some realities of change once you get sober that are very difficult sometimes to cope with. We've talked about the fact that addiction is very often not the problem, but the symptom, right? The drug use itself is very oftentimes um, the. I'm sorry, people. That is just a kick in the stomach. Yeah. Yeah. That's yeah. If Miss Moots, if you're still listening, if you could please do me a favor and direct message me. I'd like to talk to you. I think it's rather important that we speak. That would and yeah, absolutely. You can see that. Well, you're still here, Miss Moots. Please direct message me, and you could do it over on Messenger right now. And I assure you that I will get back to you. You should have me in your system. I believe you and I have spoken once before via Messenger. So if you want to send me a message, that would be great. People, we talked at length before about how there are a lot of people who use drugs for different reasons. One of the reasons that you get constantly is that people don't feel comfortable in social situations. And I would say if you started to take all of the different reasons that people list for why they started using a substance, right? Nobody ever says, "Oh, I became a drug addict because." But the reason that they started doing drugs very oftentimes is because of crippling social anxiety, and they would use alcohol or they would use drugs as a lubricant, so to speak, to make it so that they had an easier time interacting with people. And this is something that I've said in the past. This definitely wasn't me, right? I didn't. From a very young age, I was incredibly outgoing. Um, Miss Moots, we're going to keep going, but please direct message me. You and I need to speak again. It's very, very important. It would mean a great deal to me that we have an opportunity
You
to
can
talk.
email us too or me, um, but direct
Yeah,
message would be better to
yeah.
Tommy.
You can pick any form of communication that you want, but please do reach out because that's important. The So as I told everybody, I got a lot of family that just came into town, and I mean a lot of family. It would take up an entire pew in church. The My sister has five children. So my sister was here with her five kids, or four of her five kids, and their significant others and children. And my baby sister was here last night, and a really, really unusual thing happened. And it's not the first time, but it's the first time that it really sank in. Uh, I was so incredibly uncomfortable, I can't explain it. Um, Cripplingly uncomfortable, to the point where uh, I basically had to run and hide. And uh, I spent a decent amount of the time of the night apologizing for the fact that I wasn't capable of being in the mix. And the sad thing is that for most of my life, I was not just comfortable in that situation, but I was sort of the life of the party. I was always, right in the middle of whatever was going on in these gatherings, and it was always something that was I almost expected. It was something that people sort of expected me to do, and uh, I never believed for a second that I used drugs to make me comfortable in crowds. But this is family. This should have been the easiest of crowds to be around, and yet the I can't describe it any other way as like almost a panic attack. The anxiety that I felt being around the entire deal was just far too much. Brandon Taylor says, "I'd like to share this on the boat. Last night, I was completely honest with my fiance about my addiction, and it was a wonderful conversation. I laid all of my cards on the table, and I stopped lying. People, I got that email. He actually reached out and told me that, so I already knew that. And as we always say, anything you tell us in an email is never going to be brought to the boat unless you bring it to the boat. But how cool is that? Just how fantastic is it that that there's nothing left to hide. There are no skeletons in the closet, and this is something that she was really supportive. From his email, he said that she was just everything that you hope somebody would be if you were to open up and give them that kind of news. It's Brandon, my hat is off to you because it's a difficult thing to be that kind of honest. It really is. And as Tommy Bird says, I love hearing that, right? I love hearing that. That is one of the coolest things. And just keep it up. You know what I mean? Run real short accounts from this point forward because there's never a reason ever to be hiding anything from the person that you love. And the fact that you have a clean slate right now is nothing is nothing short of fantastic. It really is a beautiful thing. So as far as change, people, I'm happy as hell being sober. And I've been talking about this a lot lately here. There just isn't a part of my life that I'm not happy with. My relationships with my family are fantastic. The business is doing better than I could have prayed for. And I literally, I'm not trying to offend anyone here that's not a believer, but I will give God all the glory for it because I've spent a tremendous amount of time praying about this business. But it has taken off in a way that is bigger than we had hoped for. I think since I talked to you guys last, I think we probably sold another 5 or 6 watches. It's just really sort of tumbling out of control, the speed at which business is. There's nothing in my life that isn't perfect, but there's a lot in my life that's different. And I think as you start to move into the new you, one of the questions that you really have to ask yourself is, are you willing to change? Because a lot of the changes that are coming aren't necessarily going to be you saying, okay, here's what I'm planning on doing. What's going to happen is you're going to get sober and you're going to change. There's not going to be any if, ands, or buts. You're going to change whether you like it or not. And I am really struggling with the fact that I'm not the most social person in the world anymore. It really is something that it's I don't know. It's like it's really being dealt a blow because this was probably one of the things that I was most known for. Really, is that there was never a situation that I'm uncomfortable in. And the one of the sad things is that being a public speaker or having a YouTube channel where you come on every single day and you talk to the potential of thousands of people. It's kind of assumed that, oh, I love this kind of stuff, right? The more people the better, and shine a light on me and I'm going to be happy to talk and keep everybody sort of happy and entertained or anything. um it's one of those situations that leaves me wondering whether or not drugs were always a part of that. you know as far back as I can remember, it's never been an issue with me. I don't have a problem getting up on stage. I don't have a problem doing what I'm doing right now, but I'm far more comfortable talking to um, the crew of the lifeboat than I am in a room of 14 or 15 family members, and that's really kind of hard to come to grips with. But I think that part of this whole sobriety thing is coming to coming to grips with the fact that you might not really know exactly who you are, right? Or who you were. Hey, good to see you, Daniel Theobald. Great to see you. Glad that you're here. Um, it's there's going to be changes in the new you, and you're going to love some of them, and you might not love all of them. I really do not want to feel that horrendous social anxiety when I'm around people. But apparently, I broomed it the last time it happened. The last time it happened, it was also family, and there was a lot of people, and I just thought, um, you know what? Hey, Leisure, I'm glad to see you. Leisure, you're in our thoughts and our prayers. I know that Leisure's having some struggles, and hey, we're with you, brother. Really glad to see you here. Where we just before we went live, Mark and I were talking about you. So it's fantastic to see you here on the boat. So people be ready for this. Really, I mean, once again, quitting drugs is not the end all and be all that we all think it's going to be. It's depending on how long you've been abusing drugs. Let's say, you got a 10-year habit. Well, then you probably spent 9 of those years saying over and over and over again, if I just could quit doing dope, everything would be great, right? If I could just quit drinking, if I could just quit shooting, smoking, whatever, then life would be perfect. And unfortunately, people, if you quit doing drugs, you're going to be drug free. That's what you're going to be. The challenges of life are still going to come at you. And thrown into that mix is you're going to have to find out who the heck you are, because the person that you think you are, you might not be. This is something that I'm really kind of, I guess struggling is the right word. I'm struggling trying to figure out exactly, uh, I don't know. It's an odd handle. Well, welcome. Always love having the people from the government here doing their thing. So that's great. Everyone who feeling like you might need a little assistance, the welfare people are here. God bless them. That's a good thing. Um, so I would be ready to accept change. And some of it is going to be phenomenal, people. Some of it is going to be the best things that ever happened to you. We've talked a lot in the last couple of days about, the opportunity to build back family relationships and things of that nature. That kind of stuff is sort of what we expect. Unfortunately, there's going to be some other changes that you may not expect, and it is part of this game we call sobriety. Pagan says, my daughter has overdosed several times. I found her the first time, almost didn't get her back. Thank God for Narcan. Amen. And people, if you do not know what Narcan is, they are giving it out at just about every pharmacy in the United States currently. And Narcan is the antidote. For lack of a better way to think about it, it is the antidote. When you administer Narcan, it binds up all of the opiates in someone's system and basically flushes them out instantly. They go to the liver and they stop, doing what they're doing. They get knocked off of the brain stem. They stop coursing through your blood. It's an instantaneous kind of a thing. It used to be an injection, right, that you would do up to 4 times, depending on just how far, into the overdose or how much someone has taken. These days, it now comes in an inhaler, like a nasal spray that they use, which I think is probably a great idea, because there are people who, obviously you kind of think, well, if someone's overdosing, then the people around them probably, know how to use a needle, but, it isn't always the case. Very often the people there don't know. Well, a couple of things about Narcan, people. If you overdose on cocaine, Narcan's not going to do anything for you. If your overdose is from something other than than opiates, then you're absolutely sunk. That is the only thing that it is the antidote for. But hold on a second. Duco Scissor Kicks says, let me grab this because that looked important. I think I got it. Yeah, because you're going to be answering us something in a second anyway. August 21st, we'll have 6 years sober. My life has changed dramatically. I'm here from Wages and heard him mention the lifeboat and the love that's shown and wanted to see. Wow, it's flowing here. Thank you. You know what? Thank you. It is, and we take no credit for that. That is the crew, the people that make up this boat. The love that you feel definitely is coming from them. And tell you what,
glad you're here, Scissor Kicks. Glad you're here.
Big time. Glad you're here. Mark, there's a question here that was aimed directly at you, and I think you probably ought to answer it.
Where's it at?
I pretty much know the answer. Wages, how many hours a day do you work on your stuff?
How many hours a day do I work on my space weather stuff? Well, at first it ended up being a lot. Okay, guys. But all the stuff that I show you guys on my channel, I can access most of it on my phone. So I check on it periodically through the day, and if something happens, then I'll stage a show. But to stage a show, depending on what's going on, it's at least a half hour, 45 minutes before I can go live, and then it's a live show. Now, if I edit a video, believe it or not, guys, it takes a lot longer. Because you record it and then you're adding a bunch of stuff, and you got to go back, do this, that, and this to it. But yeah, so that's why I started live streaming, because it cut down on the time that I had to do to actually get my channel going. So, but yeah, hope that answers your question.
And I'll tell you, on the flip side of that, I don't think he puts a tremendous amount of time into the boat. Anytime, if there's anything technical of any ilk whatsoever here on the lifeboat, it's Mark. So you see something scrolling across the bottom of the screen, or you see the American flag outline, or the chyron that is running vertically, or any of the thumbnails. I mean, literally, people, if it's not me sitting in front of a microphone and talking, then it's my bobbleheaded partner doing that. He has built this brick by brick from the ground up through a lot of hit and miss and a lot of trial and error. But
that is what takes the most time. Once you get it set up, almost like a template, it doesn't honestly take all that long to get like that part of it done. And I do that so Tommy doesn't have to mess with it, and he can just focus on you guys and what the subject is. That's what we try to do.
He's also being modest, though, because if ever there's anything that needs to get done, you would think, for instance, if you plugged in a new microphone, that you would just go, great. Now we're working with a Yeti Blue, and we have a much better microphone system. No. It's like starting from day one. You got to go back and we're constantly upgrading the equipment that we use. And I mean, virtually every single time anything is added, if Mark gets a new headset, you guys can't see my bobbleheaded partner, but it looks very much like you would imagine a producer would look, right? He's got on the headset, and he's got on the little microphone, and very often. If I ever look like I'm staring off into space and I just look kind of stupid, it's because, Mark can speak to me without any of you people hearing him. And very often he does that. And from time to time, I forget that, the rest of you can't hear him. And I'll be like, it's a great point. And I just look like some lunatic who's talking to someone who's not there. But
yeah,
there's a great deal of work that goes in.
I appreciate that.
And primarily it is my partner that does it.
And the thing is, guys, I mean, and I have my set of skills that I do, and Tommy does his, and he's being modest most of the time too. So he's very good at public speaking. He knows what he's talking about, especially on this subject. And there's not a whole lot me and him together can't really find an answer for. At least, some sort of a basic answer, point you guys in the right direction. And there's, like, just for instance, like at the beginning of our channel, Tommy, we didn't have that little slide at the bottom right, where it's got the drug hotline and the suicide hotline there. That's always
Correct.
there. And at the beginning, we didn't have that because we didn't really, think about that at the beginning. And honestly, the channel wasn't all that big yet. We hadn't did live shows yet. It was, but that's stuff that we had, and we talk about that, guys. We do. We talk about that multiple times on anything that gets added to the screen here. Before I go live with it, I'll tell Tommy, hey, I'm doing this. If you don't like it, let me know, and we'll just take it off there. So that's just kind of how it goes, and I try my best to follow his lead when it comes to like the thumbnails. He'll pick a subject, or I'll pick a subject sometimes, but most of the time, pretty much
We're on the same page. I would say
Yeah.
probably 99% of the time.
Yep.
So back just real quickly to the Narcan. Tommy Bird made a great point. He said, you know what, if you've got it laying around and it's not something that you're ever going to end up administering, it's not a bad idea to get that in the hands of somebody who can save a life with it. That being said, if there is even an outside chance that someone is going to end up in your domicile overdosing, keep one shot of Narcan or one issue of Narcan back there. But you're right. If you're sitting on 5 or 6 of them, man, get it out. Get out all of the stuff that you can, because this stuff saves lives. We've already seen it happen multiple times now on the lifeboat, where people who are crew members on this boat have saved their lives with Narcan. One really odd case where someone actually called us before they called the 911 people. If you're ever in trouble, call 911, and
Yep.
then when you get home from the hospital, give us a call.
Yep.
But and that was just one of those really lucky situations where I said, "Oh, good Lord, if you only had Narcan there, you wouldn't have to." And she's like, "Narcan? I think I have that. I think they gave me that at rehab." And thank God, because it did save her life. So we got pretty fortunate with that.
Yep.
But yeah, it's I love the back and forth and the interaction with the audience. I love it when you guys ask questions and we're able to answer them. Normally, we tend to. I have several doses at my house due to my daughter. I also give it out to the homeless by my house. Good for you, Pagan. That's honestly good stuff, because it really does save lives. There's nothing else like it in the drug world. I mean, it is. If you've never seen it in action, it's absolutely remarkable. It really is one of those things that until you see it, it's almost hard to believe, because you'll see somebody that's gone, where the lips are turning blue, and you just think there is no bringing this person back. And in 5 seconds, they will sit up and talk to you, and usually pretty miserable because of what it does. It kicks all of the opiates out of the body, including the ones that were making them feel good right before they overdosed. So, Five Sight says, "Wage, you work hard. Respect." He does. There's no question, and it's nice when people see that and comment on it. There's on Wages World, it's a lot more obvious, but here on the lifeboat, the camera faces in this direction, and for that reason, I think very often it's the good and the bad. I get the good and the bad. When things are not great at the lifeboat, it's my fault, and when things are great, it's my fault. And the truth of the matter is, there's a partner working really damn hard behind the scenes so that we can do this every day. And
let me say something to Lady Hammer. She makes a great point here. Says she got some Narcan, but she thinks it's expired. Guys, that's an important thing to look at. Okay, if it's expired, go get new stuff.
yeah,
Honestly, I mean, it's not. I'm not going to sit here and say that can't work if it's expired, but you don't want to trust it. And if that's all you got, obviously you're going to use it. But what I'm saying is that is a great thing to do.
yeah,
Periodically check on the expiration date and just
yeah, no question. Now, that being said, this is important stuff too, because I have seen bad things happen. And by the way, Pagan says, yes, it does. 100. She was gone, dead, blue lips, crazy color around her mouth. She sat up, pissed off. Yes, that is usually how that goes. But thank God, huh? That really is a beautiful thing. And the product, we all wish that someone was there to give that to your sister, and or to number five or to any of the other people that that this
You know,
this
Lady Hammer,
terrible scourge has taken. Go ahead.
Lady Hammer, I don't know the answer to that question. That's
No,
for you to understand.
no, you
Yeah.
should not throw it away. If you're talking about the Narcan, here's the thing, and this is what I was going to say before I squirreled off on on something that caught my eye. Uh, the truth of the matter is this: with almost everything in the drug world, the expiration dates are put there. I don't want to say arbitrarily because it's not, but it'll fall under a certain category, and they will say, "Okay, we're going to put a 2 year mark on this." Um, as most of you know, I'm on 7 years sober. Prior to that, um, you know, the internet was in full swing when I was still abusing drugs on a regular basis, and I was a customer of Silk Road before that got shut down. I bought a lot of drugs on Silk Road, and one of the things that we used to buy routinely were Quaaludes, and with the exception of South Africa, right, that where there's still a version of it manufactured. Uh, it's under the name Mandrax, but for all intents and purposes, it's the same drug. But the truth of the matter is, they stopped making methaqualone in the '80s. No one's made it since then, and we would buy bottles from either RORA or Huffman LaRoche or Lemon or any of the big manufacturers of Quaaludes, and absolutely, you know, 25 years later, these things would still go bang, very much like they did, the day that they were first sold. So very oftentimes those expiration dates refer to things that begin to lose potency. Doesn't mean that on the expiration date they're worthless.
Right.
That's just simply not the case. Now, if you're probably not going to use that for the next 2 or 3 years, then the right thing to do is to get down to a pharmacy and say, hey, this thing's expired. Can you trade it in for me? But if it's one of those situations where there are people around quite often, don't ever think to yourself, well, I'm not going to use this because it's expired. No, take that out and use it. It's going to do exactly what you hope it will do.
And you guys can all take a lesson from Pagan and Lady Hammer here. Everybody needs to have that. And I get it, right? Most people don't even think about that if they're not around that kind of a thing. But what happens if you're walking down the mall? Because that happens, guys. You're walking in the mall somewhere or wherever you're at, somebody hits the deck, and maybe you're the only one around that has anything. You just want to be prepared for that. And it's also important to know that Pagan actually said what you oftentimes say, Tommy, about the mist. It's not an injection anymore, guys. It's
correct.
It's nasal. So,
and this is I'm glad you brought that up too, because very often we think of Afrin, right? Or we think of any of the nasal sprays, or if you ever abused, opiates, there is an opiate that you spray up your nose called Stadol. It was pretty popular for a while. It's very fast. It hits you very, very quickly. How do you get Narcan? Ladybug says you go to your pharmacy, any local pharmacy, and say, I'd like to get some Narcan. It's actually CAN, some Narcan or naloxone. It's the same thing, but they are going to hand it to you, plain and simple. Like Pagan said, had I not had it, she would be dead at 24. For her birthday is in September. It really is an incredible, but substance. Unlike Afrin, or unlike Stadol or any of the other stuff that we're used to seeing people spray up their nose, you do not have to be going for this stuff to be effective, right? The person can be not breathing. The idea is it gets in there through the capillary beds inside the nose. So it goes through the mucous membranes and directly into the capillaries. They do not need to be conscious. They do not need to be breathing just up the nose. So you don't have to, be worried that, someone isn't breathing. It's not going to work. You just spray it up their nose. Another thing, since we're on the subject of this, and this isn't where we were going to go today, but if you take your finger and you bend it like this, right? And you put it in the hollow of someone's neck, right? and you press up and down and rub as hard as you can. It's called a sternum rub. And this is when you're an EMT, this is exactly what they will do to bring people back. It is so uncomfortable. Like if you can't do it to yourself because you wouldn't do it hard enough you'll stop before you get a chance to. But if you've ever had someone do it, it is one of the most uncomfortable feelings in the entire world. And when you rub up and down like that, discomfort is what usually brings people, around enough to take that lungful. Ladybug says, "Wow, thanks, Tommy. I didn't know anyone could get it." Yes, right now there are very few places in the country where they will not give it to virtually anybody. If by some chance you're in one of those just unbelievable places that doesn't give out Narcan, then get on the internet and look up needle exchange programs in your town. Every needle exchange program, no questions asked, no IDs, no questions. You walk in and say, I need to get some Narcan. They'll say, how many bottles? How much of this do you need? How many people usually hang out at your house? They are not at all concerned about handing that stuff out. They don't charge money for it. You don't need prescriptions for it. And if you think about it, that makes an awful lot of sense.
Yep.
It's
please come back, Scissor Kicks, when you went to our other shows. We'll be live tomorrow and Tuesday, and then we take Wednesdays and Thursdays off, and then we're here the other days. So
yes, exactly. Our Saturday and Sunday is Wednesday and Thursday. Those are our 2 days off because the weekend is usually, well, it's very much associated with partying and drugs and all of that. So we're always there on the weekends. That's a guarantee. Hold on one second, people. This is always funny when someone calls me in the middle of the lifeboat because the entire world knows I do this. Like I don't know anyone who doesn't know that I do the lifeboat, right? Sorry, I'm live right now. Would you like me to put you on speakerphone and you could say hi to everybody? When they don't respond to that, they know they've screwed up. They're usually in the process of hanging up. So, but yeah, they really are. There's been a very serious push these days on things like fentanyl test strips, giving Narcan out, anything that they can do to try to cut down on the number of people who are dying because of this scourge. We are losing far too many people far too fast. So it's
and guys, we talk about that moment of clarity, and sometimes that's where it comes from.
Amen.
If like Pagan, she's offering them to mail it to anyone right now. She said it right there in the chat. If you guys don't have Narcan on how to get it, she'll send you something. So I mean, that right there tells you. And then obviously she has a good knowledge base on this because she's definitely hitting the keys there. And that once again, crew members just pulling in there, and that's how it happens. But thank you for that, Pagan, and that's definitely a great thing to do. And but yeah, guys, I mean, most places now, especially like if you get down to like your community centers and in like your annex buildings and things like that, and your local governments, a lot of times even like the police stations and stuff handed out.
Pagan asks, can I put up my email so folks who need it, I can get it for free?
Yeah.
You know what? You can put up your email. Just know that a lot of people are going to see it. Yep. If you're cool with that, we don't have a problem with it. We would never do that, right, to you. But if you want to do that, absolutely feel free to put up your, and that's a beautiful, truthfully, that's a beautiful thing. Very, very kind.
Yep, it is. And guys, and that's what we're going to find in this community, and it's what me and Tommy have discovered. A lot of good, kind people here. We just, society looks at us not as bad as what it used to be, but we've had to fight to get where we're at, and it's nice to see those kinds of things. So we're really giving people, and we try to help, and and we're making the world see us now. So that's positive. So.
You know what? I'm glad that you said that, because I remember in the very beginning, I mean, over a year ago, I mean, really in the very, very beginning, like the Tommy show or whatever. I remember coming out and saying what I really wanted to come out of this. I wanted people to realize that drug addicts are as good as anybody else. The fact that you got addicted to drugs does not mean that you're less of anything. And um, I'm don't ever get this the wrong way. Don't take this the wrong way. I'm not suggesting that sober people need to go get a drug habit so that, but I have really come to the belief that the kindest people I've ever met in my life are people who have been able to overcome an addiction. When you become sober, and it's appropriate for today's conversation because we're talking so much about change. When you get sober, and there are all of these changes that happen, no matter how much you turn the page, no matter how much you move on, there's always a part of you that remembers exactly where you came from. And for that reason, I think that recovered addicts tend to be some of the kindest people in the entire world. M. Hunt says, love you guys. Prayers for Jason's family. Have a good night, Captain and crew. Tonight is 1 month. No drinks for me. And I couldn't be better.
Wow.
Man, am I proud of you,
Yep.
Hunt. I'm telling you, bud, 1 month. I am I could not be happier. I really couldn't.
It's amazing.
We pulled really hard for this one, man.
Yeah, we did.
For a really
Yeah,
long
for sure.
time. We were really pulling for you, bud. We had many conversations about M Hunt, but we're proud of you, man. We really are proud of you. So you're starting month 2 right now. Have a good night's sleep, brother. As they say, there is no pillow softer than a clean conscience, right? There's
Oh wow,
nothing
I
like
know, no, I don't know if I've ever heard that one before. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a good
it's a
one.
beautiful thing, when everything is good, it's like Brandon, telling his girl and having no secrets, man, that is a soft pillow, right?
Oh
That is
yeah.
really a good night's sleep when you got nothing to hide from the most important people in your life.
Yep.
That really is just amazing.
Yeah.
Now, as M. Hunt was saying, and you know, obviously, Jason Moot's family will be in our thoughts and our prayers. Um, I am going to do a little research so that I can find out exactly where things like flowers and cards or anything like that can be sent so that we can maybe put something together for the family. It is a very difficult thing, and I promised that before the end of this show I would revisit this. People, I would love to say right now, you know what? I bet you this never ever happens again. But it would be a pretty ignorant thing to say.
Yep.
Um, the truth is that the battle to get sober is one of the most difficult things in the world. And there are people who there are people who make it. There are people who don't, and there are people who continue to fight until the day that they die. And those are really the only three options. There are people who struggle with it till the very last day, unhappy in the life that they're in, but unable to break free of it. And then there are people that can't fight that fight anymore. And we talked about this. We talked about it on a show that was it's probably not one of the one of the most viewed episodes of the Lifeboat that we ever did. It was right before we went on our hiatus, but I think everybody here is pretty well aware of the fact that Cindy Lamb's Cindy was another person that just said, I'm not going to fight anymore. The and the it was said that there was a diabetic episode or whatever, and I have shared with everybody that if it was there was an email sent to me the night before that was pretty prophetic. If that just happened to have been she had actually reached out and sent me an email, and it was truthfully, I mean, it's always such a difficult thing when somebody takes their own life. It really is. But the email was in a very bizarre way, very peaceful. And this was someone who was really at ease with what she was about to do. Not condoning it, and I'm not condoning it. I'm just for those on the boat who hadn't heard, I think it's kind of important because she was such an amazing part of the lifeboat. And for those of you who have been on the boat a while, you probably remember a very beautiful letter from Jason Moots' daughter, and that it just makes this even more tragic. It really does. That's the end of this story. But I promise you, I'm going to do a ton of research for you. I'm going to find out exactly how you can reach out to the family and send, if it's just a well wishing or whatever. I'm going to make sure that we all know how we can do that, because I think that would be. I know that we're going to struggle with this, as a crew. It's just one of those things. Lady Hammer says, I am taking clonazepam now. My doctor said I should try to not take it, but it's really hard. Here's the reason that I realize, the reason that this is that I'm bringing this up, because this is actually really, really important, Lady Hammer. So clonazepam, that's Klonopin, right? Then that's the generic name for Klonopin. That is a benzodiazepine, and it is a very, very strong benzodiazepine. One of the strongest out there, truthfully, for benzos. You cannot quit that drug cold turkey. If you've been taking it for a while, it is like alcohol, right? The only other drug that quitting cold turkey, the withdrawals can actually kill you. Oh,
That's the big one.
I love it when my bobbleheaded partner, he got back to back love from the family. You can't see this, but his not only his daughter but his wife also stopped by and gave him a little hug. I love that. I really do. I love that. So if you're going to try to get off clonazepam, you're going to need to talk to a doctor about it. Right? Do not quit cold turkey. It can shock your system to the point where it will kill you. That's no joke. There are very few drugs out there that can do that. There's a ton of anecdotal crap that people will tell you. Yeah, I saw a guy quit cocaine and it killed him. Something killed him, right? Or you hear people say, if you're addicted enough to heroin and you quit it, it will kill you. I don't know. I got up to 7.5 grams a day if that wasn't addicted enough, and I kicked it cold turkey. I can't tell you how many times. It is one of those things that you'll wish you were dead, but it's not going to kill you. Benzos, on the other hand, will kill you, right? Mark's told a story that's firsthand evidence. He watched somebody when he was in rehab who passed away because they didn't get this individual their benzo. Now, if it is something that you want to quit, you can quit it. I promise you can, but you got to do it with the assistance of a doctor, because what they will do is step you off of, as opposed to just going, all right, that's it, I'm done. Very often they'll take you to a not quite as strong benzo, right? So you might go from clonazepam to Ativan, right? Or something like that. And you just continue to take a smaller and smaller amount until eventually you're doing maybe 2 milligrams of Valium or whatever, diazepam, and then eventually they can stop you altogether. But it's
Lady Hammer.
I have tried to quit, but I end up in the emergency room every time. Well, yeah, you can't just quit like that. I promise you on that. That's just really, really bad. Jimmy Pickles, good to see you, my brother. I love it when Jimmy Pickles shows up.
JJ, they did that to you? No way. Wow.
Tommy Bird says, I kicked benzos on my own. Let me see here. I on my own, but I stepped down slowly. It was a weaker one though, just Valium. Just is probably not. Valium's a strong benzo, people. It really is. There is no just anything with benzodiazepines. Those tranquilizers are they work in your body the exact same way that that alcohol does. So it's just one of those things.
Sorry, Tom, I didn't mean to do that.
No.
That JJ said that her doctor just cut her off cold turkey. So she had to kick it like that. You better go get a different doctor.
or a good lawyer,
Yeah, something there, man. I mean, wow, that
because that is, I mean,
that's extremely
here
dangerous.
now, I think this is kind of important. Let's say, let's say you were on benzos for 14 days, right? A doctor can say to you, all right, you're done, right? You're not doing this anymore.
That's yeah,
Um, and, you know, depending on what the benzo is and how long you're doing it, there's probably people smarter than me that can tell you exactly what the table is on that. Okay, this strong a benzo, this period of time. But for a doctor to say that uh, they just want you to stop benzos is absolutely bizarre. You need a different doctor. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
I just again, always go to your doctor, guys. I mean, that's the bottom line. We can tell you all day long our opinion, but at the end of the day, that's all that it is. And you really need to go to the doctor. And if you're not happy with that doctor, try to get a different one. And sometimes that happens, guys.
yeah, and this is one of these things that no matter how nicely you try to do it, and no matter how polished you are or anything else, you're just always going to come off like a jackass. But this is my job, right? Marcus to not be the jackass on this one. He just has to put in all the work. So, but five sight, while I have absolutely no problem with people smoking pot, none whatsoever. I really don't. And I'll be really honest. I don't have a problem with people doing any drug. That's not what this channel is. This channel is an anti-addiction channel. But there are people here for whom cannabis was a real issue. And there's one person whose name we won't use because I don't have his permission, but probably 30 plus years of smoking every single day of his life. And now he's got about 8 or 9 days without it in his system. So while we don't bust on any drug, we would prefer that you don't say things like, it's time to roll another joint. I wouldn't want someone saying it's time to pop another beer, right? Because we have people in here who fight alcohol, or it's time to cook up another shot. I'm not upset with you for smoking the thing, but in the comment section, just because so many of the people here, you never know. I mean, there's 2,520 crew members. I promise you, there's a bunch of them that are trying to not smoke weed. So, I hope I didn't bum you up, but that
Yeah,
had to
that's
be
not
said.
his intention, Pies. It's
Oh
not.
yeah,
It's not at all. It's just especially I'm assuming you probably. I think didn't he come in a little bit after the intro? I'm pretty sure.
very well may have. I don't
And
know 100%.
and at the
I was
beginning,
busy talking to my bobbleheaded partner at that time. So
yeah, there was we run a disclaimer at the front, and we put the chat rules in there, and that's kind of part of it. So we're not like offended or anything. So please don't think we're trying to like pinpoint you out. It's not that at all. It's just we try not to do that. So just know that. That's all.
yeah, yeah,
So,
perfect. Well played. Um, so people, we're getting close to the top of the hour. I promise you, between now and the next time we meet, I'm going to do everything within my power to get some contact info for the Moots family, because I know this is a tough time, obviously, for the family, and I know this is a tough time for the boat. And Daniel, well done, my brother.
you the
Uh,
man, Daniel. Good job, man.
and you know what? This is to catch that kind of news 30 seconds into a show is a really difficult thing to do. And I'm not saying that because I want a pat on the back. I'm saying that because people are I'm going to get emails that crucify us, right? Because we did this show anyway. I literally have been hearing it go bing, 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 and I guarantee you I've already gotten 10 of them who said, I can't believe that you did a show after finding out. the I think that the nature of what we do, the show's always going to go on, right? We did a show after we lost Cindy. We're always going to uh, we're always gonna push forward. You, in a situation like this, you can't win. If I had shut the show down, and I can listen to my bobbleheaded partner and you can't. And I promise you, he was struggling really bad in the beginning of the show. And but it's one of those things that if we had shut the show down, I'd have gotten 20 emails to crucify us for shutting down the show. So we're always going to err on the side of being here, especially since this hit so close to home that the last thing, thank you, Five. No hard feelings, brother, at all.
Yeah.
But since so many people knew him, I think it would have been very bad for him to say, you know what, we can't handle this. So we're just going to, you know what, people, we can handle anything. And I'm sorry. It's, my heart weeps for Jason and for his family. But the takeaway is that it's going to be, we're going to have so many of these people. I'm sorry. I wish it wasn't the case, but there's going to be so many of them. And we're never going to forget one of them. They're the people that inspire us to continue to go, to live not in spite of them, but with them, and for them. For Five and for Cindy and for everybody else that we've lost along the way. I wish it wasn't the case, but it's just always going to be the case. It really is, and that's unfortunate. And Ladybug says he would want us to go on, and I believe that.
Well,
I really do.
And we talk, we're a family, right? I mean,
Yeah.
when things like this happen, the family needs to be together. And that's kind of why, and like you said, Tommy's seen it visibly. It hit me because I went to the bathroom. When I came back, you guys were already talking about it. I didn't even see it yet. And yeah. So anyway, I just want you guys to understand that part. We're a family, so when stuff like that happens, we're here for each other. You can't be here
Amen.
for each other if you're not here.
That's right. And we will, the show will always go on, people. It's sort of the defining characteristic of the lifeboat, right? We talk about not sweating the small stuff. Well, this is the big stuff. When a crew member takes their own life, that's the big stuff. But it is what it is, and we're going to continue to do what we do. I'm going to get some information so that you can reach out to the family and send our condolences and do that. But yeah, a cemetery.
Where you going, man?
Yeah, what is that, man? Seriously, what?
It's all right. I don't know. I don't know what. Let's see. You made another to me.
No, but on the heels of somebody taking their life, that's a tough thing to type up there because it scares the crap out of everybody in the room now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No. It. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's numbers in the bottom of the screen, guys. If you guys are feeling that way.
Or reach out to me or my partner. We've got emails everywhere.
Yep.
We're not difficult to get a hold of. But
yeah. Okay.
He says he's been doing that lately, Tommy. Well, listen, Cemetery, the world needs you here, and so does the lifeboat.
Yep.
With all due respect to Jason and everybody else, I'm sorry. Knock that shit off.
Yep.
If that's how you're feeling, then reach out to one of us because we don't like losing people on this boat. It sucks. It really does.
Yep.
Reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you. Tell you why you're needed here, right? I'd love to have that conversation with you. All righty, people. We will be back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, right? Doing what we do.
That's right.
I am Captain Tommy Scoville, and on the other side of the glass,
Mark Wages.
and that's Cat in the Basket. Good night, everybody. We love you.